Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over how to make the Master Sword. The Master Sword from the Legend of Zelda is just one of the most powerful blades in video game history, I believe. It's a blade that seals away the darkness. Along with Zelda being my favorite game series of all time, Skyward Sword is being remastered. I am so excited to play it. I've got my copy pre-ordered. Any further ado though, let's get right into how to build this beautiful blade. Oh my god, I'm so excited. So, this 3D file, I don't remember exactly where it came from, but I will be going over that. I will have the link in the description down below so you can get this file yourself. The video is going to be showing you how to put it together and paint it, piece it together and everything like that. So, to start off basically, it comes printed in 4 parts. You have the pommel, the lower part of the blade with the handguard, the middle part of the blade, and then the tip. You print them all out, and then you lock them in place like this. But what we're going to do is we're going to get some Loctite super glue, and just, if we can get the Loctite open. So for the super glue, put it on the edges here. Just a little drab there, a little drab there, and on either side of the hole. You don't want a lot. This is going to help keep it in place. And then you take the piece, and it's a really tight fit. It's really nicely fit in there. You slide it in, just like that. So now you take this, you run it through. This is a 1/4 inch rod, steel rod. I had to use one that you could screw in, not that necessarily screw in exactly, but that you could. The others that were 1/4 inch were just perfectly sized to the hole. But this I find works really well. So this helps keeps it sturdy and together, but this helps keep it that little extra bit. So again, for this piece, just a little bit on the side here, a little bit on this side here, and then a dot around the hole. And then you take it and you pop it on. And again, these can be pretty tight fits because they are friction fitted just about perfectly. And now before the glue dries, slide this the rest of the way in. The whole thing altogether is about 34 inches long. This is a 36 inch long rod, so you're gonna need something to cut off 2 inches. Otherwise the handle, pommel, whatever, isn't gonna fit all the way on. So what I'm going to use is my Dremel with the grinding bit, and I'm going to grind off the excess, which I have marked on here. When I do that, and if you do this, you need to make sure that you're wearing safety goggles. You don't want any of this coming up and hitting you in the face. So we're going to pause real fast so I can do this, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we got our bit grinded off. We'll get all this stuff out the way. And we had to take off this much. But now, this is the perfect length for the pommel, which will sit right in there. So, what we want to do with this is we just want to slather the inside of this with Loctite. It's just the inner little hole here. Press it in, and then just let it set. And that's the whole thing put together. The file was pretty simple to use, pretty simple to work with. Overall, it only took like this part, the lower blade with the handguard, took a day because it had all the intricate detail and everything. Everything else was like 4 hours a piece. So it's like a day and a half, and you can have this printed out and put together. So now we have, yeah, see, look, it's already together. That's not sliding off. Great. Now we have the Master Sword. There's small gaps between the blades, but that's gonna be filled in by the end of this. But next we're gonna prime it, and we're gonna prime it with some primer filler. So we use this Rust-Oleum primer, 2-in-1 filler and sandable. I get this from Lowe's. It's like $5 a piece. I normally grab like 2 or 3 cans because you have to do this with a lot of 3D prints to make them smooth. So we're gonna spray this down, get a nice even coat on both sides, and then we will come back and get more into the detail painting and everything. Alright, so we got this all done and dusted. It is all beautifully pristine and smooth, like a smooth as steel, if you will. Super sharp at the tip, actually, like surprisingly so. This took a good long time. This took about 8 coats per side. Sanding after each coat with 120 grit sandpaper, and then a final once over with 220 to really give it that perfectly smooth surface. The hardest part and the thing that took the longest was filling in and sanding down the seams where the pieces connected to each other, so that they're not shown and that it looks like one long blade, one long piece. So now that this is done, this is assembled, we're going to paint it. How are we going to paint it? Because as many of you know, I'm bad at painting, but I want this really, really good. So I bought an airbrush. I've done a little bit of practice, a little bit. So we're gonna figure out. We're gonna paint it. We're gonna paint this with an airbrush. I'm terrified, but it'll look great. So we're gonna start off painting the blade itself. I'm going to be using the airbrush. It's dual action, so it pushes in the button at the top to start the airflow, pull it back to let it pull it back to have it actually spray paint. So here we go. Alright, so we're gonna let this side, there's the difference, this side and this. You can see the difference there. Let that dry and it'll look a little better too. Then we'll move on to the next side. And that's the same thing as this side. Mask these areas off a little bit to spray this a little better for the rest of the blade here. And then we'll move on to the handguard and the pommel and all that. Alright, so now the blade's all painted up. We've already gone ahead and painted one half of the handle. This took a lot longer because the purple that I'm using, which is Gloss Grape, right here, hard to see, I know. It's a lighter color, so it took about 2.5 coats. But I think it's the perfect shade. I've got this covered up because this needs to be painted gold. But I think it's the perfect shade, and now we just need to do the other half here. And then the handle will be done, and then it's just doing the detail painting of the gold, trimming and everything like that. And then doing the wrap around the handle, around the hilt. And then it's all done, and it's looking really good. I cannot be happier with how it's turning out. A lot better than this little cheap foam one I have back here. And Skyward Sword came out, so I wanted a Master Sword for the release of the game, so I figured this would be a good time to do this. And I got a lot of other Zelda-related things coming up. I got a couple of them. The Red Hood thing. If you guys are wondering about the Injustice Red Hood, it's having to take a back seat at the moment while I wait on the material to mold everything come in. That's going to be a long process, so those videos are going to take a little bit to get here. So in the meantime, we're going to be doing these videos here for this cosplay that I'm doing, and all these props, and go down whole breakdowns of putting most of the bigger ones we'll be putting together and everything like that. But for now, we're just starting with Master Sword, and again, I think it looks beautiful. We need to do the other side, and then we will do the trimming gold and everything, and we will be done. with our Master Sword. So I'll get to that, we'll cut to the end here, and it's gonna look beautiful. Alright, so we got it all done, painted up properly. Take a look. It looks fabulous. I'm loving the look of it. All that's left to do is wrap the pommel, wrap the hilt, and then after that's wrapped, the Master Sword will be perfectly complete. I absolutely love how this has turned out. Like, you have no idea. This crappy little thing here, this is about to be just tossed off to the side because we have our own that we've made from beginning to end right here, beautifully done. Alright everybody, we are completely done. I wound up using some green ribbon for the hand wrap, which I did honestly, I did a pretty bad job of the hand wrap. This is my first time ever doing a wrap for a sword. So, let me know what you think about that. I think it's okay for a first time ever doing something like this. Definitely looks better from the front than the back, but I mean, it's gonna be covered mainly by my hand anyways. I think it looks really good though. I'm super, super happy with how this turned out. It's so good. Oh, I love it. Well, you can't see my face because the way the camera has to be angled, but I love it. It's so good. Oh, it's so much better than this. So, the final rundown, all this took was $2 ribbon, not even a lot of it, thing of gloss gray? Yeah, thing of gloss gray, half a bottle of steel, and a bottle of gold, and a little bit of Loctite to Loctite the thing down. The 3D files for this sword will be down below in the description. I got it on Etsy, and putting it together, and then an iron rod to go through the center, which was like another $2. So overall, this was only like $25 for this. And if you don't have an airbrush to use with the colors and everything, you can brush it, paint it by hand, or with spray paint. It just might not come out as smooth or clear as this, but it will still come out looking real nice. Overall, again, about $25 build. Really nice for $25. That's the same price as getting one of these at like a Comic-Con or something. This is like 20 bucks at Comic-Con. So I'd suggest just making it yourself. Pretty con-friendly, other than the tip being super sharp. You'd have to do something about that, but it is a thing of beauty. I am in love with it, and I got more for this series coming while we're waiting on supplies for Red Hood. Be on the lookout for more of this. Stay tuned for the Red Hood and everything coming up in the future. And yeah, I'll see you at the next one. This is so pretty. Ah, my God, I love it. Hey everyone, if you liked that video, please remember to subscribe and click that notification bell down below so you can keep up to date with all my content. And if you want to see what I do outside of YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram at Adamlcosplay. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.